it started with NSARS, right? So the NSARS
Yes.
itself, was it a success? Was it a failure? Or perhaps citizens could have gone about asking for SARS to be stopped in another way that would have been easier for the force to implement.
Well, it was an absolute success. We had said at the time it started that the NSAS was a movement, and then the movement was expansive. It wasn't particularly just about prescribing or banning a particular tactical unit of the police. That was seen to be very oppressive. So that movement, to our assessment, is successful. It led to a part of the changes that we expected, though not absolutely, because the remaining elements are still having a pocket of some pockets of the same behavior of the SARS. But it was successful. If for nothing, it actually reflects the strength of the youths of this country, and then puts a check to government if they are conscious of the experience they had at the time. It just perhaps the youths are very tolerant and tolerable in a way. Otherwise, if the youths stand up and then seek to take a position on anything that affects them and affects society, that direction is likely to be successful. So that's one. Then another, like I said, even before this intervention, that's having this discussion with you, I just had a recent call from Delta, and in reflection of the same anniversary of the NSAS movement. And then the figures and the kind of reports and the cases we had that would have been every day, just as been in Port Harcourt, are not coming as much as that. So for us, it's a relative success in a way. Surprisingly, the police or the SARS then, as the tactical unit, particularly for anti-robbery behaviors and of course, to go after robbery incidents and calls, distress calls for robbery. At that time, it appeared that the incidents of robbery were rather heightened. Extortion, extrajudicial killing were heightened. Unnecessary illegal roadblocks and searches, and of course, youths were just disturbed here and there. But surprisingly, taking out that murderous and oppressive units of the police, one would have expected a rise of armed robbery incidents. One would have expected a rise of extrajudicial murders. But even the city of that we are and the media reporting extrajudicial murders, I do not think that in a regular day that the numbers are the same as we used to have before the NSAS movement and during the high times of SARS movement. The SARS tactical unit. So one would imagine was therefore that they were responsible for some of those armed robbery incidents. Of course, there are such allegations, or whether because of their inadequacies and excesses, the cases of extortion. Of course, those allegations were there that they were very much the most elements in terms of extortion of Nigerians, particularly young Nigerians, and even cases of extrajudicial murders. It was just common amongst them. So we wouldn't say it wasn't a success. It is a success. There's a relative drop in some of those incidents that we are linked to SARS. So I think that we would say the way the movement, which is continuing, the movement is continuing. I think we will get to a better situation.
All right. Someone here says, from Choba Gilbert says, SARS were officially banned, but not banned internally, like the statement. The problem has changed name. SARS attitude still exists, take it or leave it. The guys are unchangeable. And that's something that Ken Henshaw, we the people, echoed when he was talking about the anniversary of the End SARS protest. Police officers or special units still act like SARS. Why do you think this is still happening?
Yes, it's happening. Like I said, the inadequacies and the excesses of the police, I would say they have completely abated. Were in relative terms. That's why I said the movement could be considered successful, but it's continuous. Now, there are tactical units that actually existed, and it's true that the elements that were constituted the special anti-robbery squad were not all displaced from service. The ban of SARS led to the redeployment of those elements to other tactical units. But psychologically, the actual components of SARS that existed has been banned, actually also reflected in their behaviors. That is not to say that in the other tactical units, but we are still facing those in probably the special squads, the other tactical units for River State, the escorts for the commissioner, and they are still behaving in similar patterns. But the issue here is that the level of the conduct or the behaviors or excesses of SARS had actually dropped after the NSAS protest, though the movement continues. Because I agree that those other tactical units are still having some level of excesses, but again, they have become conscious of what happened to their sister units, SARS. Truly, we interface and we interact with some of them. And practically too, even on the streets of Port Harcourt, you find out that policemen or anybody on a roadblock is more conscious than they were and better behaved than they were before the NSAS protest.